Hello. The Pope has just finished his 5-day trip to Greece, and he's spent time again on Lesbos meeting refugees, migrants. He's doing this within days of his 85th birthday on the 17th of December. He talks in Lesbos. He talked about how little had changed since his last visit there. He talked about narrow self-mindedness. He talked about the Mediterranean being a grim cemetery without tombstones. It's become a reflection of death. And all this at a time when the EU persists in treating, he says, this problem as a matter which does not concern them. And we know Poland has been campaigning to build a wall. Greece has already built a wall, at least a stretch of wall, a steel wall between on the land border between Greece and Turkey. And Greece is also on camera recorded doing its pushbacks with the Greek patrol boats sending up huge waves threatening these very fragile dinghies loaded with migrants, pushing them back to the Turkish coast, or holding the dinghies until the Turkish Coast Guard come to collect them. This is shameful behaviour. Now, did the Pope talk directly about this, as indeed a journalist in the Netherlands directly confronted the Greek Prime Minister Mitsotakis, who has, incidentally, I should add, impeccable English? No, the Pope behaved as a senior statesman should behave, with great politeness, dignity and diplomacy, but his message could not have been clearer. And the fact that the Pope went to Lesbos for a second time is really a symbolic slap on the wrist. This is not something we should be doing as a civilized nation. We shouldn't be condoning it, and yet at the same time, Priti Patel is pretty well campaigning for her own pushbacks, campaigning for her own effective wall. France takes more migrants than we do, and we're pushing France to take even those who come over here. We have a campaign which is based on some very, very spurious moral grounds. And the Pope finished his tour by talking to young people. Do not be tempted by the songs that enchanted sailors. So again, he's back to the imagery that started his tour, the imagery of an odyssey at sea, and looking for home, looking for rescue, looking for refuge. There are, I think, 23,000 migrants recorded as dying in the Mediterranean since 2014, and I'm sure that's a small estimate. We're racking up the lists of deaths that have occurred in the English Channel. These are not statistics that civilized countries should be proud of. This is not something that we should be seeing. If we want to discourage people from coming to our countries, then we need to find better ways of doing so. But we should at the same time also be giving refuge to those people who need it. We shouldn't be pushing back. This idea of a pushback, this idea that actually has been going on for a very long time. I know of the Greek pushbacks going back to 2001. This is not a new device, it's not a new policy. It is perhaps something that has been newly identified, but I've certainly been speaking about it for nearly 20 years. So people aren't listening. And when they do listen, they have an excuse. Mitsotakis, when he was questioned about this, precisely about this, by a reporter in the Netherlands. He rounded on the reporter and said that it was inappropriate to be asking these questions in the diplomatic context in which he found himself. He's right, but he didn't answer the question. He did also say how much effort Greece has made to deal with the migrant crisis, which is also true. Greece has made a great effort, and it has taken significantly more than its share of migrants and refugees. But that's because it's on the it's on the edge of the Mediterranean. It's the first country of port for many of the people who are seeking refuge. And Europe needs to step up its actions, and so does Britain. This is not something that should be shouldered by one country alone, as it has been for the last 20 years. So there we are. Slightly serious subject. Do follow the channel, do ring the bell, and let me know what thoughts you've got about this story. If you want to see the evidence of the Greek boats pushing back migrants, the evidence is clearly displayed on Turkish media, and you can find it on YouTube sites. And it's harrowing.